What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here, Kelly K9. We are getting ready. Another midweek, getting closer to this game. So before we get rolling, man, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that share, all that good stuff, and definitely thank everyone for the birthday wishes, man. Big 5-0. It's like a big birthday. Yeah, I'd like to say I feel worse or feel this, but it's just it's just another day, man. And my mind always thinks I'm 20. I still think I'm the same person I always am.
It's the golden birthday, man. It's the golden birthday.
It is, man. It is. And everyone warned me of it. I'm the youngest. I don't know about you. I'm like the youngest of my friends. So I graduated in 93, and my birthday obviously is in October. So back in the day, school kind of started a little later. So I missed the cutoff of starting the following year. So my senior year, I was 16. So I turned 17 during my senior year. So, I was always the last to get the car, last to do this, last to do that. But damn it, I'm the last to turn 50. So, something worked out.
There you go. You got to find the ray of sunshine where you can, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, and you know what, man? Like you said, you still feel 20, man. You're only as old as you feel.
That's what I think, man. And the Cowboys got me, I don't know about you, they got me feeling good. I mean, we had the game, obviously, last week against the Jets. You saw, man, this offense is just, oh, God, I love this offense. And I sure
you and me both.
I just hope we don't waste it. But the defense, they showed flashes, right? So we got some pass rush, and people want to talk about the Jets, but the Jets had a pretty decent offensive line. I mean, the Cowboys played worse offensive lines and did nothing, with the Bears and the Giants. The Jets had a decent offensive line, got the pressure, gave up some big runs. So, not all is well. But, what's your thoughts on this defense? And, now we got talk that Houston's better than Parsons. And, it's great. And all kidding aside, I know. It's just like I got into it with people. I'm like, and don't get me wrong, I'm good with the trade. I think you can't pay an edge rusher that kind of money. I'm totally for it, especially when you have the quarterback making their money. You have to make a decision. So I get it, but let's not throw the guy through the mud thinking that he's shit. He's pretty damn good.
No, yeah.
So
no, he's having a little bit of a slow start of the season. My guess is that at the end of the season, though, that I don't think Houston's going to have more sacks than Michael Parsons. But if he does, great. I'm hoping for it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to. I like what you said. Kind of like pump the brakes. You know what I mean? This is not to say that Houston is better than Michael Parsons. But up to this point, obviously he's got more sacks than him. But what does that equate to in the ultimate end? We'll see, I guess, but not really a whole lot in my opinion right now. I think that's just kind of it's a cool stat for Cowboys fans to look at.
They put Jamar Chase has more tackles than Micah Parsons right now. With all the turnovers the Bengals had, he actually has 5 tackles stopping players from interceptions. So you could throw it any way you want. But what's your thoughts? You guys, I see Dave, I see Cuts, I see Gary. The crew is in the cave. What's your thoughts on this defense? Are you seeing light at the end of the tunnel? Are you still kind of, I got to wait and see, man, a little bit longer?
Well, me personally, I am. I saw improvements, and and people are still going to talk about, there's that faction of people that can never find the positives in anything and never want to. They always want to stay on the negative side, and everything has to be negative because. Here's the thing, like when I said in my post-game reaction video, when I said I saw improvements from this defense, what I kept getting was calm down, it's the 0-4 Jets, calm down, it's the 0-4 Jets. We lost to the 0-2 Bears, and Caleb Williams carved this defense absolutely to pieces. And listen, Justin Fields still had a pretty decent day at the end of it when you look at it.
Yeah.
But the thing is this defense got stops when they needed to. And then they created turnovers and they got after the quarterback. And that's something we have not seen through the first, 5 weeks of the season. We just have not seen pressure on the quarterback. We haven't seen turnovers. We haven't seen a lot of this. So regardless of whether it's the Jets or not, it's still a game that you're playing on the road with a 32nd ranked defense, and this defense did not actually look like the 32nd ranked defense. They looked a little bit better than that. And the thing that we've been harping on is that nobody's saying that this defense is going to be elite. Nobody's saying that this defense looked elite, but we talked about it last week. If this defense can just get to maybe around, not even middle of the pack, but maybe around, low 20s, 20 to 21. I'd say 20 to 23, honestly. Yeah. If we can get in that range, you know what I mean, to where they're not horrific, but, they're not great. They're just kind of they're mid. If we can get there, this team can win a lot of games with the offense that we have, because the offense is rolling every week. They can't be stopped. They're looking absolutely surgical with Dak Prescott playing the best football that I think I've seen. I know there's arguments for, I think the 2020 season, but look, I think this is the best Dak Prescott I've seen. He looks leaner. He looks just to be more in football physical condition. Yeah. He's running when he needs to. That there doesn't seem to be any gun shy hesitation anymore that we've seen in years past, where we've questioned, hey, why isn't he running? Sometimes, like, if he sees a lane, he's taking it. So I like what I saw from the defense. I think it's an improvement. I think what you want to see is the improvement week to week, and I think we saw an improvement. You can't sit there and put a blindfold on and just dismiss it as the 0-4 Jets. It was an improvement. So I like what I saw.
I like it, and I think the media is liking us, and they must watch our show, because they went in and I talked about Dak Prescott, and what I said was on Monday's show, he reminds me of Tony Romo near the end. Like, remember when Tony Romo, everything clicked and then the injury happened? That's what he just seems like everything is slowed down. Like his reads, I mean, it's just, he's making good decisions. He's elevating, like, you saw Flournoy get 100 yards in the first half, which that they never had a 100-yard receiver, 100-yard rusher and a half before, which amazed me. You think about some of the Cowboys had. And then, the other thing was, you and I said this 1,000 times. We don't need to be great. Just be decent. The defense, get in the 20s, upper 20s. With this offense, you can make it happen. So that's what I'm liking. And the Panthers are going to pose a test, but it looks like we got a special guest. Is it maybe a birthday guest? I don't know what the hell's going on, but I see someone in the green room. Hey, what do we got going on there?
Hey, Mike Tag said he wanted a sports car, not some walking trash can. Look, I'm not gonna interrupt Cowboys talk too long, and I got the Yankee game on, but I had to come in and wish Mike Tag a big 50th birthday. Welcome to the club. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm trying to find a better camera for you to get you on there. I'm feeling good. I appreciate you got the party hat. That's right. You got the little streamers. You got the little horn. I don't know what's going on over there.
No, I'm having a party just for you, man. Come on. Hey,
we should have a party for the Yankees. I mean, give us what's going on here? We got the Yankees, aren't they, tonight?
Just before I jumped on, we're losing 2-1. Schitler's pitching a gem, though, so hopefully we can pull it out. I mean, we last night we showed a little pride. We're down. We were getting our asses handed to us. Came back to 1. So hey. Do we got to do. Garland, Doug, what's up? Like I said, I ain't going to take up too much time, but I had to come in and, continue the party here for Mike Tag's birthday.
Wow, we love it. And Jimmy has been part of a lot of birthdays for me. And there's a lot of pictures and a lot of Polaroids out there. One day we'll dig them up and we'll share them. Jimmy, back in the day, the funny thing I'll tell you, Kelly, about Jimmy, we need to get him. He was at the tailgate, but I mean, we've elevated even higher. Next year,
I know I missed this one. I mean, it was kind of disappointing to not see him there this year.
Jimmy was the guy that would have been in the ambulance. We wouldn't have had our star we are. It would have been Jimmy in the ambulance at this one. But there was a time that Jimmy wouldn't drink, and he never would drink. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to drink. I get a natural high. And then my brother, who Kelly, introduced him to a Long Island iced tea after a men's slow pitch softball game. Okay. And Jimmy, it was never the same since. He used to walk around the house and walk around, hotels, whatever we did, with an empty milk jug filled with beer.
Southpaw Light.
Out of it.
Southpaw Light, that's right. Who are we playing for? Stowe? Was that the team we were playing for?
Stowe, it was Stowe.
Yeah, we got back. He's like, here. He says, I don't like this. Mike Tag's brother pushes over the tall boy Long Island iced tea. And I'll tell you, looking back, it was a perfectly mixed LIT, right? It tasted great. So give me another one. Yeah, I went staggering out of that place that afternoon.
That's classic right there. Hey, I'll say I love a good Long Island iced tea. I got a local spot that I go to that does $3 Long Islands all day, every day, and I can go there and get completely lit up for 20 to $30 and walk out of there feeling fine. So ain't nothing but the Long Island iced tea.
Oh, it's great, man. I had one a couple weeks ago. I love a nicely poured LIT is great. So, hey, Mike Tag,
it's a value drink because there's so much alcohol in it. The return on investment, you can get a Jack and Coke or something like that. You get Long Island iced tea, you're on your ass, and you don't need many drinks. And
it don't take very many.
No, it doesn't. And Kelly and Mike Tag and Uncle Cheech and G-Reg in the cave, we're all about value. So Mike Tag, Kelly's spot on. But speaking of ambulance, like I said, I won't keep you. I know it's Cowboys talk. It's Wednesday. But speaking of ambulances, I don't know how many times Mike Tag saved me from being in an ambulance on a Friday or Saturday night out party. And I owe him.
Yes, absolutely. Friends zone, that. Friends zone, Jimmy.
Friends don't owe. They do because they want to do.
That's right.
Hey, guys, have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yep,
Safe
good
luck,
Carolina.
Thanks,
brother.
Have a good night, Kelly.
Man. All right.
Bye.
Man, I could tell you a lot of stories about that dude. He is.
He's a character, man. I love Jimmy, man. He was missed at the tailgate this year. That's for sure.
I'll tell you one story, and then we'll get back to the Cowboys. This is Jimmy in a nutshell. So, when I moved up to Tampa, there was this club called the Turtle Club, and it was just they used to have the hot bod contest, the bikini contest on like a Saturday night or whatever. So we'd go up there, and at the time I wasn't really a gun owner, but I traveled, so I drove around. So I used to keep this Rambo knife in my car, just driving around, all over the state and whatever. So he is hammered. Absolutely hammered. And we went to a wrestling match when NWO was real big. And we go there and he gets shit-faced and jumps on stage while these girls are, modeling. And he goes and does the X-Pac. Remember the X-Pac and DX? They did the crotch thing. And he goes on there. So these bouncers grab and throw him off the stage. And it's me, my cousin who came down from New Jersey he's in college, and then his college friend, they stayed at our place for the week. And Jimmy proceeds to tell him, come on, understand what I just said. We are going to kick all your asses. And he challenged the bouncers to a fight, throwing me and my cousin and his friend into it. So we look at it, and it's like 10-on-4 it ain't happening. So I grabbed him and I drug him outside, and these guys started following us. And I ran to the car and I just grabbed my knife and I said, Jimmy, if we get our asses kicked, as soon as I get out of the hospital, I am going to fucking kill you. And he sobered up real quick. And thankfully the bouncers, they understood it wasn't us. I mean, we had an inebriated friend, so they went back inside. I took them home. But yeah, isn't that nice when your friend gets all the trouble and he decides to say, we are going to kick your ass when he started?
Turned in from me to we real quick.
Oh,
Flip that M upside down.
Oh God. Yeah, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy in a nutshell. And now look at him, he's a mature guy. Got a family man and all that stuff. But yeah, so looking back at the Cowboys, what in the Panthers, and I'm gonna be there. So anybody who is going to be down in Carolina, your boy flies in Saturday. I know Cuts does. Mark's there. Doug, obviously, he's got the crew there. I know we're doing a little tailgate. We're gonna have a nice little party. I know there's some people already reached out that are going to be there. So Saturday night, we could definitely all get together. If you guys are in, have a pre-party somewhere. And but give us a holler. I know Rome's going to be down there. Dallas takes over that stadium. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a home game. So it'll be a home game for us. But we got our old running back who had a nice game against the Dolphins. And he told our defense to buckle up.
Well, he got a little confident, got a little confidence in him and had himself a good game, and then I don't know that, I guess maybe he's looking at the stats and he's looking and seeing the 32nd ranked defense, and maybe he's got a little confidence in him. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Rico Dowdle is the last running back I'm going to be scared of. Congratulations on having a good game against the Dolphins. I think this run defense is going to have a little something to say. I know I've seen Kenny Clark kind of clap back a little bit today and said that I don't think maybe he's watched our run defense this year. So I think Kenny Clark have maybe a little extra motivation now. That's a little bit of bullet board material. So you got a couple of guys in that interior of that line fired up. So we'll see. They did give up some runs against the Jets. There were some runs that they gave up, but again, there was also plays where they came up and they really stepped up and got, hit the running back in the backfield for a loss, for some big losses, loss of 5 yards. Solomon Thomas had one where he shot straight through. He was pretty much unblocked. But, the thing is, when you get back there, you have to capitalize on that opportunity and make the tackle, right? He made the tackle, made the stop. There was several of them where they did that. So I'm confident in this run defense. I'm not worried about Rico Dowdle doing a whole lot against us. I will say that you can never underestimate any opponent, though. The Carolina Panthers, what did they smoked the Falcons a few weeks ago?
They've been like really weird. And man, Garland, if it's your birthday today too, same day as mine, man. Happy
birthday twin, a birthday twin.
Yeah, I like it. We got the chance to meet Garland down at the tailgate, so that's cool.
We did.
So they don't have a good offense. I mean, looking at their offense, obviously it's ranked like 24th. They look good against the Falcons, and then they get beat. I mean, it just kind of been like a hot and cold kind of team.
Yeah,
you don't know really what to expect. That they were down on the Dolphins, then they came back and they beat them. But I'm just going to tell you, I was debating this on Twitter, and I'm just telling you that the Miami Dolphins, that coach is the worst coach I've ever seen. He's terrible. I mean, McDaniel. That team is so undisciplined, so bad. And if you ever listen to this guy talk, he seems lost. So I don't really hold that. Yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on him? Do you have any thoughts on him?
Well, I think that he kind of lost who he was. And I think he tries a little bit hard to be somebody that he's not. I mean, you take a look at him and I've seen, videos of him out there dancing to some rap music and dressing up and trying to put the swag on. And I'm not here to judge anybody, but he just doesn't strike me as that guy. Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. He looks like a guy who should be crunching numbers for an accounting firm. I mean, that's what he looks like. And I think he has tried to embody a personality that's not really him. And I think that, I just don't think that anybody takes him seriously. I think he's kind of a joke. And I think, unfortunately, his players don't really take him very serious either. Yeah. So that's just a perception I get off him. I'm not in the locker room. I could be 100% wrong, but that's just, I get the perception he's just not a serious guy. And he's not a guy that really could walk into a room and command respect. He just seems, just like you said, lost.
His days are numbered. Miami wants his head, and I've just let the fans just absolutely want him out of there. My brother down there is just like they can't take him anymore. But the crazy thing is you talk about Dallas, and I always looked at Miami as kind of an iconic franchise. Well, they hadn't won a playoff game since Jimmy Johnson was the coach since '96. They hadn't won a Super Bowl since
a long time.
Season or whatever that was, or the year after
72, right?
So, I mean, you talk about they don't get the heat that Dallas does, which always amazes me. They don't get that heat, but I mean, we know why. But getting back to Rico, I mean, he had a nice little performance and great job. And I had nothing against him. He's not a game breaker. But talk about Javonte Williams and what he's meant to this team. Because, we talk about what has made Dak so good. And I think I talked about it Monday. I think Javonte brings balance, and you've got a running back. And, I'd love maybe to get Anthony Dorsett back on the show, because we had him on and we kind of talked about, other people wearing 33. And he never had he said his dad never, no issues with 33, but they'd give it to like the backup cornerback or the backup safety. I mean, Javonte Williams, and I'm a huge Tony Dorsett fan, he's doing 33 proud. Like, I'm not a big, I don't think you need to retire numbers, but if you're going to give 33, give it to a damn running back that's going to bring something. And this guy is bringing it. And I probably the best free agent signing that I can remember for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, honestly, it has. It's been better than even what I kind of imagined it to be. And honestly, I think this is the best version of Javonte Williams that anybody's seen. Even the Broncos when they had him his rookie year. This is
the college. This is the college. I told the one I was telling you about. This Javonte Williams is a college. He's
and look, his rookie year, he did some really good things, and he kind of had some breakout performance, runs, but now it's just he's put it all together. And I mean, I even read an interview with him earlier in the week where he even said that this is the most confident that I felt. Is that I understand what's happening on the field. I see the plays as they're breaking down, and I 100% believe him because you can see it in his play. When he goes to that, when they hand him the ball, it's not just a battering ram, running into. He's patient. He lets the blocks develop. I've seen several plays where he is getting behind his blockers where there may be a hole open and he could hit that hole, but maybe that results in a 3-yard gain. Instead, he waits for that block develop and then he hits that hole. You know what I mean? And then it's a long run, or he's breaking tackles, or just his vision just looks elite. I'm just gonna say it. His vision looks elite. His patience is there. The power is there. He's always going forward for positive yards. You rarely see him getting hit in the backfield. You rarely see him taking a tackle for loss. He's just playing at a really great clip, and it is taking this offense to the next level because Dak, with that play action pass, is when he's at his best, right? We've seen Dak Prescott with a play action pass, and that always seems to be when Dak is at his best. And so he's back at it again. Play action passes are back, and Dak Prescott is cooking, and Javonte Williams is cooking. And I mean, honestly, we all kind of talked about, a little bit earlier in the season about, RB2 and who can be the guy to, I mean, at this point, we got RB1 and he's kind of the workhorse. And I don't really think that you really need to change it. I mean, unless something was to change, I'm completely fine with Javonte Williams getting, 20 to 25 carries a game. Give him them carries, you know what I mean? And he's proven that he can be a goal line back. He's proven that he can be the guy that breaks off the big plays. He's able to get the short yardage. Like he can do it all at this point. So I'm no longer concerned about the running back position. I think Javonte Williams, thus far, I would say he has been the second best player on the team behind Dak Prescott offensively. And then that's saying something, considering you've got George Pickens, who's already passed his career total and touchdowns with 5 touchdowns. That's crazy that's his career high in touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think Javonte probably has more touchdowns than any Cowboy did last year. I mean, when's the last time we saw a 66-yard run from one of our running backs? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was last year. I don't know.
I think I actually read something that it was. I think it was a Tony Pollard run it was about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was Tony Pollard that had a 67-yard run. So that was we haven't seen anything like that. And think about this too. When we talk about Rico Dowdle, Rico Dowdle couldn't find the end zone if the end zone was behind him. I mean, he just seemed to be a guy that was not, he could not find the goal line. And even when given opportunities, and there was times where I think it was a Dolphins game maybe that stands out to me. There was one game that it should have been a touchdown. He couldn't even break an arm tackle. It was a
Dolphin game.
Weak ass arm tackle.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there just saying, Jesus, man. I mean, come on. Like that's when I was, and that's why this season I was a little PTSD, because I'm like, damn, do we have a guy that's going to be that guy, that can be that guy? And man, Javonte Williams has exceeded my expectation. I get texts I got 2 good friends of mine that are both Broncos fans, and they text me every single week telling me, you're welcome. You're welcome. And
it's funny. My buddy Ronnie, he texted me all. He goes, "I told you you'd like." I said, "Man, I knew he was good." He goes, "We miss him." He goes, "I wish we would have kept him." I mean, the real Bronco fans saw what we're seeing him, and obviously the injuries, not so good for him. But it's definitely changed everything with the offense because, like you said, with Dak Prescott and what he's done with these receivers, and I mean, and I don't think Dak gets enough credit, and I don't think our coaching staff really gets enough credit. But I mean, we had 4 offensive linemen out, and we talked about it in the offseason. And I was telling our offensive line to you guys, and I was saying, man, I don't think we need to draft. I like our offensive line, and the proof is playing out that we had depth, and our offensive line was a hell of a lot better than people thought it was. But he had his 1 receiver out, his 3 receiver out, 4 offensive linemen out. You can argue the backup running back, okay, whatever. That's probably not a big deal, but you so many people out. I mean, I always go back to when I had to sit through that stupid game with Jimmy, and we had Tyron Smith out, and we had God, I can't remember his damn name. Gave him 7 sacks. Our Chaz Green went in for Tyron Smith, and we got absolutely annihilated. No coaching adjustments, nothing. Now we got 4 linemen out, and it's like we didn't skip a beat. A running game was strong. No sacks that I can think of that we gave up in that Jets game, just thinking off the top of my head. And the offense is absolutely rolling, but a lot of credit goes to the coaching staff. A lot of credit goes to Dak Prescott, knowing that, having that clock in his head. He's running around too. I mean, they had him. They were showing it. I'm sorry to ramble, but they were showing it on the run that Javonte had. I don't know if you saw this. Dak, because it was almost halftime, was running down the field. He was running down the field because they had to spike it, right? They clocked him at 18.5 miles an hour running down the field. That's pretty damn good for Dak Prescott. I mean, that's pretty fast.
Not too damn shabby, right?
So
not too shabby.
He seems good. But I mean, what's your thoughts on just the overall? And give the coaches credit too. Like I said, Adams and obviously Shoddy and all of the. The line coach and everyone,
Yeah, Connor Riley is a guy that I talked about before the season started and was hyping him up. Connor Riley, the O-line coach, is, I think, the difference, honestly. I think Solari's scheme last year was absolute shit. I didn't think he was a good fit for this team with this O-line. And Connor Riley has been a great O-line coach everywhere he's coached. He's had top offensive line units. And I had, earlier today, I see Brian Baldinger had a tweet where he was crediting Connor Riley, and I retweeted something that I tweeted all the way back in June and said, "Listen, I think that Connor Riley, the addition of him to this staff, and along with Adams too, he's doing a good job too. But Connor Riley, I said, the addition of this staff, I said, I think this is going to be a top 5 offensive line unit by season's end." And I fully believe that and stand on that because you're seeing it now. I mean, the fact that you can have, 90% of your offensive line out of the game injured, and the fact that they can keep your quarterback upright. Not only can they keep him upright, you've got your running back with over 100 yards before halftime. And so you look at what they're doing, and it's amazing. And what was funny today was that on Twitter, two separate, not just one, 2 separate accounts that I saw had Schottenheimer on the hot seat. How in the hell can you be 2-2-1 with the league's #1 offense and all the injuries that we have across the board, and you're saying that he's on the hot seat? That is the biggest bunch of crap that I've seen. If that's not rage baiting and engagement farming, then I don't know what is, because there is no way Schottenheimer should even be mentioned to being close to being on the hot seat. Him and this entire staff outside of Eberflus, I think have done an amazing job through 5 weeks of the season. Amazing job. I really do.
With all the adversity, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And, so when you're looking at this game, obviously you got Bryce Young. He's been hit and miss. You look what our defense should be able to do. Getting healthy. You guys help me out in the chat. Is help on the way with Carson? I think he's practicing now. Is he a cornerback that
Kalen Carson
might be able to depend on? And I mean, obviously overshown. It looks like to me they're trying to get through this week, and Washington is when you're really going to see the cavalry come with CD, with Booker. I think you're going to get Guyton. Looks like he's practicing. Tyler Smith. So you're going to get a couple of your offensive linemen, that were starters coming back. You're going to be without Turpin. You're going to be without CD. So it's, again, opportunity for Flournoy. But seeing some of these guys coming back, I mean, what's your thoughts on the defense compared to the, going up against the offense with what we have? Wanye Thomas. I mean, look at James going in for Sanborn. I mean,
and playing great.
The media, the damn commentator was like, "Oh, they're going to miss it." I was like, "Jesus, we've been screaming, get rid of Sanborn. He just ain't getting it done." So, I mean, what's your thoughts on this defense right now going up against Carolina? Can they will themselves? Can they improve a little bit more so we don't get into that shootout, cardiac Cowboys like we like to call them?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's good that we have this kind of a youth movement, honestly, along the defense with some of these guys. I think the fact that that you had a Sanborn injury kind of paved the way for a young linebacker and James to come in here and kind of take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and lead the team in tackles. You want speed. You want guys flying around the field. You want guys that are hungry. And, Eugene, shout out Eugene, you want to be hungry, so I like it currently right now. And I think that, I think that some of these guys, I just feel like that you always hear that next man up mentality, right? You hear that a lot, but I think Schottenheimer and I think this staff really has these guys believing into it and buying into it. And you hear the way that Dak Prescott talks, and I love the way he talked about, the way he's leading this year. I feel like he's taken an extra role in leading. But when he talked about the offensive lineman, and this goes for the defense too as well, he goes, I don't even want to say backups. I just guys who have capitalized on an opportunity and seized upon an opportunity to go out there and be great. And you look at that, whether it's the offensive lineman, whether it's James, whether it's Flournoy, you've got guys going out there and grabbing the bull by the horns and really going in there and seizing that opportunity. And I think that is a credit to the coaching staff, getting these guys to believe in themselves and to just be ready for the moment. So I personally like it because I think what we saw through the first 4 weeks of the season, I mean, I thought it was pretty subpar by this defense. And now you're starting to see flashes, but flashes from guys who weren't on the field earlier that are getting some opportunities now that may have just very well secured even more opportunities for themselves going forward against Carolina. So I'm not too scared about a Bryce Young because, and I know I said that about Caleb Williams before we played Caleb Williams, and he did, look what he did. But I don't think he has quite the same arsenal as the Bears do in terms of receivers and playmakers that they have. Carolina just doesn't really have that. Their offense doesn't scare me. So I think this defense should be able to do what they did, similar to what the Jets did, create some pressure, get a couple turnovers, and I think that this could be another stress-free game before we go up against Washington and really get tested against an NFC East opponent that's starting to kind of ramp up, similar to kind of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Getting up far.
I mean, this is a game like we talked about. You got to win. You got to win.
Yeah, you can't lose this game. You absolutely can't lose this game.
With the schedule they've got coming up, they've got to do it. So looking at the offense, and you see the emergence of Flournoy taking advantage, like you said, of opportunity. He had a very nice game, showed, great catches. He had some contested catches. It wasn't like he was just catching some easy stuff. He had some contested catches. You're seeing Pickens. So you're like, man, when Turpin comes back, when CD comes back, the confidence that Dak now has in these guys. I mean, do you see Mingo or not Mingo? Do you see Flournoy? Mingo's coming back too, which I think he's kind of like, it sucks injuries, but he's kind of like probably going to be falling to be the odd guy out with what happened with Flournoy. Do you think this could be a continuation with Flournoy, or do you think that was kind of a flash in the pan, or you think this will be another week that because he's going to get the looks with Pickens on the one side? The looks because Horns should be playing, right? He still plays.
Yeah.
He'll be locked in on Pickens, I would imagine.
I mean, how can you ignore what Flournoy did this last weekend? I mean, he looked great. I mean, the route running, he was when you watched him, he's one of those guys that flashed. You know what I mean? You hear that term a lot when it comes to football, and it's guys that and I'm seeing it, and I've seen on a couple that he didn't catch the ball on, where I'm just like, because for a minute I kind of forgot that I knew he was on the team, and I was like, who the hell's number 19?
I know.
You know, and then he makes that, you know, one of his first big catches, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Flournoy. Like, he's out there, like, he really wants to do, and you know, over 100 yards before the start of the half, or before the end of the half. And I don't think that you can ignore that, because you know, when a guy is given an opportunity, it's kind of it reminds me of, and I'm not going to say it's the exact, but it's a guy who shared the same number there, is a Miles Austin, right? Yeah. Miles Austin comes out and has a huge game, and then the rest is history, because then he made that kind of a regular thing where he was going out there and scorching defenses. And I mean, obviously you're going to need to see it again. You know, I saw someone in the chat that said they need to see it again. I don't think that you can just, you know, to quote Bill Parcells, don't fit him for the gold jacket just yet. But yeah, I think it's an encouraging sign. And I think that, you know, you're going to give him more opportunities. When you can make big plays like that, then you're going to get your quarterback to trust you. And I think Dak Prescott, he earned some trust from Dak Prescott right there multiple times over that Jets game. And I think he'll continue to do it, because look, here's the thing. The Jets never saw it coming. They're like, who the hell's this Ryan Flournoy kid? And, you know, and there's not much tape on him. So Carolina's probably going to sleep on him as well. And when you've got a guy like Pickens on one side, and you've got a guy like, you know, the resurgence of Jake Ferguson, who is playing very good this year. Well. Let's give him a shout out. And we, you know, Jess came in here, Navarez, and she talked about, you know, some of the things mentally that he kind of went through, and Ferguson himself talked about it just recently. So you're seeing the resurgence of Ferguson, and you've got Turpin, and you've got, you know, Tolbert's making some, you know, has made some decent plays, some clutch catches. So you've got a really good arsenal offensively of wide receivers that are all just kind of making the best out of their opportunities. So it's a good problem to have, to be able to roll all those guys out. And like you said, you do still have a guy like Mingo, who has yet to really see the field, but he was getting healthy, and now you may throw him into the mix. And so it's not a bad thing to have a ton of wide receivers to run out, especially when you can have injuries like the CeeDee Lamb injury and keep this offense clicking at a high level. It just makes you very excited about the potential when it's fully healthy and clicking, and you've got Turpin healthy, and you've got CD healthy, and you've got Pickens healthy, and you've got Flournoy out there. And, you know, like you can do some good things with this offense. And I think Schottenheimer has shown the creativity to not be stale or vanilla. This offense is creative. We've been begging for creativity for years, even when McCarthy had, you know, and Kellen Moore had this offense putting up big numbers, but it was just like in those clutch moments, you just didn't trust them. It seemed to bog down. It seemed to, then they got stale, then they got vanilla. I think Schottenheimer has been awesome the way he's called this offense, and I love it. It's fun to watch, and every week I'm just like, all right, who's gonna fly off the screen next?
Yeah. And it's really you know, every game except for the Bears, the offense has been, you know, pretty damn good. I mean, obviously Philadelphia, they carved them up. I mean, they carved that defense up. I mean, it was really just you know, that CD didn't make that catch, yada, yada. But I mean, they carved that defense up, and that's supposed to be one of the top defenses. Everyone touted the Packers defense, how great they were, you know, didn't give up many points, yada, yada. And they absolutely, you know, annihilated that defense. So they have carved up some of the better defenses. And the Bears one, you know, you lose CD in the first like 6 plays. And that's where I think Schott even talked about it. Probably, you know, they got away from what they probably wanted to do, and, you know, then let the game get away from them with obviously the defense we talked about, where you're just constantly playing catch up. It kind of got you out of what they wanted to do. But this offense is a championship. I mean, this is a Super Bowl caliber.
It is.
Offense. And I'm just hoping that if the opportunity presents itself to improve in an area, that the Cowboys do not sit on their hands. And, you know, I know we got a lot of guys coming back, and I understand you know, they're coming off injuries, and that's where my concern is, right? And is overshown. If he's overshown that we saw, great, but what if he's not? I mean, what happens to our linebackers? And, You know, our edge rushers they got pressure last week, but if that doesn't continue, we don't see the growth. Do we just sit back and allow it to continue? The same thing with the cornerbacks and the safeties. If there's someone out there, I mean, don't you got to think like, don't waste this year on this offense by having a shitty defense. I mean,
you got it.
Don't sleep on us. I'm not telling them to do anything, but man, just be very cognizant of man, do not waste this opportunity with this offense.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that I don't look at this team and think that, you know, sometimes it's like, all right, make a trade, you know, I feel like fans are always like, make a trade. You know what I mean? They're always talking about, and I'm not one of those people that's make a trade just for the sake of making a trade. But I feel like if you feel like that you're close and you feel like that you compete, then you absolutely got to get aggressive and make a trade. Now, I feel like if we don't see significant improvements from this defense consistently week to week, like we need to see another jump this week for me to, and actually, honestly, for the next 2 weeks, I need to see jumps before I'd be like, I think we're good. And even at that point, I still don't think we're 100% good. Listen, you look around the NFC right now, and it's wide open.
Well, that's right. Like David says, you wait and see, make sure we're in the hunt. I mean, who scares you?
We're in the hunt. We're in the hunt. We're in the hunt. I don't see a team out there right now. I mean, you could argue and say that they've been winning narrowly, but the Eagles were undefeated up until they got beat by the Broncos, right? And the Cowboys were step for step with them. The second best team, I would say, that everybody was pumping up and hyping up was the Green Bay Packers up until the point when we played them. And we tied them step for step right there with them. They didn't blow us out. They didn't do anything crazy. Obviously, it was a shootout, but we were step for step right there. So those are two of the top teams in the NFC. We tied one of them, and we gave away the other one against the Eagles. CeeDee Lamb makes a couple of catches down the stretch, and we win that game. So am I sitting there looking at this team saying that if we don't go and bolster this defense, that we can't do something in the playoffs and that we couldn't contend and that we couldn't be a team that could end up in the Super Bowl? Am I saying we're going to win it? No, I'm not sitting there trying to be a delusional fan saying that. But looking at this offense, this is a Super Bowl caliber offense. If you can just get this defense to be, like we've said, closer to the middle of the pack, then this team absolutely could contend in the NFC. Absolutely. Especially with Dak Prescott playing at this level that he's playing at. So, yes, you don't sit on your hands and not do anything before the trade deadline. I think if you can get somebody that can make an impact, whether that be a linebacker or a defensive back or a safety, then I think that you go out and you make that move. And I think if you could get multiple, then go out and get multiple.
Yeah,
you know,
and you don't have to wait to the deadline. I mean, there's a team, one of the teams made a move this week. I saw there was a trade someone made, got someone from the Ravens or whatever it was. But that's what I'm saying is like, don't sit back and wait. Like be aggressive. Be aggressive. Now, if you got your guy, now if they come out Sunday and our edge is if they're wrecking havoc against the Panthers and you got another game from James and you're like, man, all right, we got the side-to-side speed now. You got Leafau in there more. You know, Murray's kind of your anchor guy, right? He's your downhill kind of linebacker, and you're feeling good. All right, we got some pieces here, and then you got Overshoot, so we're feeling good. And then you get Carson, and you got Bland that's coming off an injury that he's getting. You know, he's showing improvement, and Diggs is coming back, and I think Diggs gets beat up a lot for whatever reason by fans. I give the guy some slack. I mean, he came back a hell of a lot sooner than we thought. We knew it's going to be a process. So if you see these steps in improvement, then all right, man, let's just chill. We're getting, I'm not saying don't trade no first round picks or anything like that.
Yeah, but, no, you don't have to do that.
To see it. But if you see an opportunity where you can say, you know what, here's a linebacker, the team's not going to re-sign him. It's basically rent a guy for a year or safety, whatever it is. And it's just to get you through the season and to give you an opportunity. I'm just saying don't sleep on it. I'm just saying this offense is that good that you just got to be decent at defense, like we said. And I just don't want to waste it because this is probably the best offense I've seen the Cowboys have in a long, long time. When you're talking about balance,
I think so too.
And where Dak Prescott is, man, you know how it is, man. We've been waiting 30 years, man. Don't make us wait 31 if we don't have to. And are they a Super Bowl contender now? No, but you just got to get in the tournament and get hot. I mean, did you think Washington was going to make it to the championship game?
Right.
You know, did you think the Panthers that one year with DeLome was going to make it to the Super Bowl? Did you think some of the even Burrow beating, you know, the Chiefs that one year, I believe it was, or whoever the hell they beat to go to the Super Bowl? You just got to get in the tournament, man, and you just got to be better that day. And then you got to go to the next week, and you just got to be better that day too. And if you've got an offense that can put up points, you got a shot. I'm not saying you got a shot. You got a puncher's chance.
Well, so. and that's my thing right now is that, I mean, if I'm the GM, which, you know, unfortunately I'm not, because, you know, if I was, I'd be on a yacht somewhere with a bunch of bikini. Anyway, but I'm just saying, if I was the owner right now and I was Jerry Jones, I'd already be aggressive with looking for a trade. I would have already tried to pull the trigger. I mean, why do you need to wait? You know what you have right now. You know what you've got on this offense. I'd make a trade now. I mean, I probably would have done it a week or two ago and get that going, because yes, you can look for this defense to improve. But even if they improve, even with Overshown back, even when we get, let's say that, you know, that Diggs continues to get better week to week. Let's say Bland, you know, he continues to get better. Let's say Revel comes in here and he's good. I still think you've got issues at your other spots with linebacker. Now, maybe James comes in and takes over that position, and maybe he's what we need in that position. But, you know, are you comfortable at safety? I don't really think. I think a lot of the, you know, I think we could use a safety, you know, and so I don't know. Me personally, I would make a trade. I would make a trade, and I'd try to bring somebody in. I probably would have done that already, and I would definitely not just sit back and wait to see, well, can this defense, because we're about to enter a more difficult stretch of the season that we talked about.
Yeah.
Are you going to wait until you're getting your heads cracked in by some of these elite teams that can sling the rock all over, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Jesus, our corners, they can't cover, you know what I mean? Now we're getting 500, you know, 400 yards, 500 yards dropped on us, you know, offensively. So I don't want to wait till it gets to that point. I want to know that this defense is solid and have all the weapons and tools up front, because, again, I think that this team, as constructed right now, are they a Super Bowl contender? I don't think so. No. Could they be with the right moves? Yes, I do believe that, because I think that, again, I think this having the number one offense speaks for itself. You can do a lot of great things with having the league's best offense and being able to move the ball at the clip that the Cowboys do.
And the important thing with this offense that hadn't been in a little while, they're not one dimensional. You know, a lot of times it was, oh, well, we couldn't run the football in the playoffs and that killed us. I mean, they've proven they can run the football against any team, and they've done it pretty much in every game. One thing I'll have for you, Kelly, and I maybe you did it, maybe you didn't, but, you know, Swaggy, at some point, you know, I think Swaggy needs to call Goodell and get this thing figured out. You know, that fine, I think, very unnecessary. I don't know if he was doing the middle finger. He said the way his hands were. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can explain it, you know, at one of these points and drop a video on Twitter. But yeah, that's your homework assignment.
I got it. I had somebody message me earlier, I think yesterday, about it, and I said, I got it. I got something.
You got to listen to. Did you listen to Jerry's, you know, his explanation on it?
Yes, I did.
That's even better. Like him, you know, like he's just so funny because he's like, oh, my hands are, you know, and I didn't have that finger. It was supposed to be the one, and it, you know, yeah, all right, whatever.
He is supposed to be the thumb, but he could have put them both up. He could have put them both up, and then he'd be like, you know what? It just was a natural reaction. Put them both up.
Oh, but it was funny. But you know, the Cowboys took over that stadium. I think they're going to take over Carolina, so it's going to be good. But looking, you know, this game isn't the greatest to talk about because Carolina's just not that sexy. But looking in the NFC East, obviously Philly loses to Denver. Washington was, I mean, God, I thought they're going to lose that game to the Chargers. The Chargers were up, you know, good on them. And then Washington comes back. The Giants, you know, they lose to the Saints, right? If my memory's saying, I'm getting older, so I got to make sure my memory's right. But it was the Saints, get the Saints their first win, right? I'm pretty sure. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so.
So they were up and down, but then they won. So you got Thursday night, you got the Eagles and the Giants in New York. And then you got Washington is playing Chicago. I mean, how are you seeing this NFC East kind of working itself out this weekend? Do you think everything's pretty much going to hold serve?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll, I think I could see both those teams, both Philly and Washington pulling out wins. I mean, Philly should beat the Giants. Let's be honest. The Giants have played a little bit better, but they're still one of the worst teams in the league this year. So I don't see Philly losing that. So, and Washington, obviously playing better. You get, Jaden Daniels whenever you get your number one quarterback back, that tends to make a difference. So yeah, I don't really think anything changes in the standings, but I have seen
the psyche of the Eagles. Do you have that?
What's that?
The psyche in that.
See, now here's the thing with the Eagles. I feel like they are just so close to imploding on each other. Because I really do feel like AJ Brown has got. I don't care what anybody says. AJ Brown does not like Hurts.
No,
he doesn't. You just cannot convince me. There's been too many things said by him. Subtle shots towards the quarterback. You watch when he runs his routes. Sometimes he runs his routes a little bit lazy because it's just like, well, this fucking guy ain't gonna get me the goddamn ball. And just it's just so close. You can feel it. You can feel it. And I thought that, again, last year, and obviously they went on to win the Super Bowl and prove me completely wrong. But you just feel it. It just feels like there's so much tension with that team when it comes to their offense, and with Nick Sirianni and with AJ Brown and Hurts and just everybody.
Really, even Barkley's done little to nothing. That's credit for the record, because if you just look at numbers and you just look at their offense, and I know their defense has been outstanding, and obviously special teams with the block kicks, but I mean, Barkley's averaging like 3 yards a carry. I mean, Hurts has thrown, I think Dak might have threw for more yards in one game than he's thrown all year. I mean, it's just
amazing. It's amazing how they keep winning. I told one of my friends the other day, we talked about it. I feel like Philadelphia is the most luckiest team ever over the past 2 seasons. I feel like last year and this year, they just get everything bouncing their way. Everything that can go right for them goes right for them. And eventually that's got to stop. Eventually it's going to stop. And when it does, and it did in Denver, you see what happens. They lost. Now, am I saying by any stretch of the imagination that the Eagles, the wheels are going to completely fall off and this team's just going to, go down the wrong and it won't make the playoffs? No, I don't think that. I think this team I think it's a playoff team. I think they got too many talented players not to. But I could see this team going through it. And honestly, if the Cowboys could get their shit together and get our defense, I could see the Cowboys winning the East. I honestly could. And I know that sounds crazy right now with our defense in the shape that it is. But if this defense week to week improves, and if Jerry Jones is really serious about, and I feel like this should be the year that he should want to prove people wrong, because you just traded Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, and you've got all kinds of people talking about that, Schottenheimer was one of the worst hires that he's ever made. Trading Micah Parsons, how in the hell will you ever do that? How do you expect to win ball games if you trade a generational player like that, right? So if Jerry Jones really wants to come out here and shut people the hell up, go all in now. Like, you've got the offense to do it. This should be the year that Jerry really wants to shut people up, because imagine if I know that's a big if, but imagine if the Cowboys were just even to make it to the Super Bowl this year. Imagine what that would look like, and how people would completely they would have to do a 180, including myself, on Jerry Jones and how he approaches things with the moves that he's made if they were to make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's really not. I'm not sitting there again. I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl team right now. I'm saying they have the potential to be, with the right moves to be made and with some improvements on this defense. This team could absolutely be a contender in the NFC, because the NFC just right now looks to be pretty wide open. There's not one team that really scares you that you think, damn, if we played this team, I don't think there's any chance in hell we could beat them. I don't feel like that.
No, and I think the whole NFL, I mean, if you really look at it, the Bills vulnerable. They've been in close games. They lose to the Patriots. The Chiefs, I mean, they look like a shell of themselves. It's going to be very interesting to see this game, Monday night with them. But that Jaguar game was crazy, Monday night or whatever it was. I mean, it is wide open. You're going to have, the Ravens could be falling to 1-4, if Lamar's out any longer. I mean, they could be out of the playoff hunt. So the whole NFL to me is just, there's so much parity this year more than ever. There's not really that one dominant team. And it really comes down to who gets hot, and the Cowboys could get hot if the defense just kind of gets something together. And you look at the Cowboys schedule and you're like, all right, man, they got this unbelievable. This schedule is going to be, it's going to kill them. But now you're kind of looking at it and you're like, all right, Philly, we took their best shot up in Philly. Kansas City, of course, you got Mahomes. You're always going to be concerned, but they don't look like the team that you thought that you were going to see on the schedule. The Vikings are not the 14-win team that you saw last year. Detroit, obviously, they look pretty good, but I mean, they could be vulnerable too in certain cases. So so don't get all, too scary, Cowboy fans. I think this team is going to be in the hunt. It's going to come down to this defense. If this defense, like you say, we don't want to beat a dead horse, can just get a little bit better each week, I think they've got an opportunity. And like you said, you just got to get in the playoffs. Staying healthy is key, but the Cowboys have shown they've been able to take adversity. But when you get CeeDee Lamb back and you get Turpin back and you get these guys back on the offense, you get some on the defense, man, they're going to be a tough out if they can get in there. It's definitely not going to be a cakewalk. So I like what I'm seeing so far, but at the end of the day, you got to get it done. One announcement I will say, any of you guys in Dallas, you guys know that work with the Boyd Farm and the Watch Party, that continues to grow, continues to expand. They've got Jim Jeffcoat, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Kenny Gant, the Shark, 2-time Super Bowl champion. They're going to be out there at Lavon, Texas. So if you're in that area, Boyd Farm with Eugene and Kevin Smith and the crew, they're going to be out there this weekend. So I'll be in Carolina. So I ain't going to be there, but I'll be in Carolina. But if you guys are in that area, they do a great job, and it's just growing and growing. So definitely check that out. So, but what else is on your mind, Kelly? What else we got going on here?
Well, I don't know. I want to give I know it's Carolina, but I want to give a quick score prediction.
Oh, we're going to do that. We're going to do that at the end. So
okay,
I didn't want to make sure there was nothing else that we missed.
No, I think we kind of covered it. I mean, the whole Schottenheimer thing, that was something that happened today with the Schottenheimer on the hot seat. Kind of just said that's not, that's nonsense. I don't think. I guess non Cowboys related real quick. Did you watch that Chiefs Jaguars game, and was that not the wildest play to end a game that you have seen? I mean, you fall down twice, and not one Chiefs player is able to down him, to get him. I mean, fall twice, get up, and still be able to run for the touchdown. It's absolutely insane to me, man. One of the more insane plays that I've seen in a while, man. It's crazy. That game was wild.
Standing there. He just stood there.
I know. He fell down, got up, fell down again, and I'm thinking, oh God, this is a disastrous way to end the game. Like, off a sack while you're on your damn knees. You're on the ground, and he gets up and rolls out and gets in for the touchdown. I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell? I
told him to throw it away, and Trevor Lawrence was like, I just was going to throw it away, and then I'm looking around, I was like, well, shoot, I might be able to make it in, because he didn't think there was no way there'd be enough time for falling down like that. But crazy thing on that game. So my brother did a parlay, 10 like player parlay where it's players' yards and this and that. He hit every one of them. His last one that he needed to hit was the running back Etienne. He needed 1 yard. 1 yard. He missed it by a half a yard. And in the last drive, they didn't have him in the game. I'm like, well, they weren't going to run because they need to get down there. But I said, man, if I'm you, go back and look today and see if they change any of the stats. It was $1,000. It was $1,000 win, and he lost it by 1 yard, made him sick.
Wow,
that was a wild game. But Kansas City Yeah, they just don't look right, man. They don't look
No,
right.
no,
I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't.
There's a good chance they don't. You got the Chargers playing really well, and you've got the Broncos playing really well. So, with the emergence of those two teams, yeah, it's the Chiefs are really going to have to get things turned around. Now, I will say they've got one more week before Rashee Rice comes back. That is going to help their offense.
Absolutely.
Getting Rashee Rice back, it will. But that being said, the Chiefs defense doesn't really look all that great either. I mean, the Chiefs defense has been giving up some pretty big plays and kind of having a hard time stopping people too. So, yeah, the Chiefs definitely don't look like the dominant Chiefs that we've seen in years past for sure. So, and that's a matchup that we looked at the beginning of the season that, damn, that's going to be a really difficult matchup. And now you're looking at it like, yeah, that Chiefs that's a lot more of a winnable game. You know what I mean? That's a game that I think we could win that at home against the Chiefs. Why not?
That's why I say let it play out. So we're gonna get a prediction. So we need your guys' prediction as we end the show. Carolina, Dallas, throw them in the chat. You guys, we've got 436 people hanging out in the cave. We definitely appreciate it. We want to see some predictions. And then also, last thing is definitely hit that like button on the way out. Appreciate it, Doug. And we will. I'm there with Doug. Doug said it on here, so I didn't say it. He said more the merrier. So I know, Nydia, I talked to a few people. They're coming down to the game. We will be having our tailgate, the Carolina Doug tailgate party, that version of the Cowboys Cave tailgate party. I think it's 3 years in a row. So we will tell you where we'll be, and it's just a great time. It's going to be a great time. Bring some beer, bring your drinks, bring whatever you want, and it's going to be great. But check it out. So, Kelly, I'll let you get started, and I'll start rolling some of these in. And we got 38-17. We're going to get drunk. Yeah, we're going to get drunk, and then we're going to go to Bojangles. Absolutely. And 30-17. What do you got, Kelly?
I got, I'm pretty much right in line with most everybody here. I'm going to have the Cowboys with, I'm going to put them dropping a 40 burger on these dudes. I got 42-14 Cowboys.
Wow. I mean, I think this game, I think Dallas is going to win handily. I think the Panthers are going to be committed to the run, especially if Chuba's playing and you got Dowdle, and I think we're going to be running the ball. So I think the game is going to be slow. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to. There's not going to be. It's limited possession. I think the game time is going to be fast, but I think it's going to be limited possession. So I don't see it being that many. I think Dallas. I think it's going to be like a 31-13 kind of game. I think it's going to be, Dallas should win comfortably, but I think it's not going to be a high-scoring game because they're going to try and there's going to be a lot of chewing up the clock with running the football. So
yeah.
But we got a lot of blowouts here, man.
What's that?
A lot of blowouts.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm gonna, what's the line? It makes me think I got to do some Vegas stuff. I don't know. A lot of confidence. I like the confidence the Cowboys have.
Well, I tell you what, man. All it takes is a couple of really good games, and the Cowboys. That offense cooked against Green Bay, and then they came out cooking against the Jets, and you look at that, and I think that people got a lot of confidence after those two performances in this offense. That Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott in this offense really got it going down, and he's developed that chemistry with Pickens. It's there now, and it's not going anywhere. And when you've got that, and you've got guys on the other side of the field like Flournoy, and you've got Jake Ferguson, and you've got Javonte Williams, I mean, you really look. I mean, what this offense was able to do with the injuries they had is to me is just amazing. I continue to be amazed by that. I was nervous as hell going in there, missing 4 of our starting offensive linemen. I was.
100%.
I don't give a damn if it's the Jets or not. I was nervous. I thought, man, these guys are gonna put pressure on Dak. He's gonna be running for his life all day. He's not gonna be able to complete a pass. And it was the exact opposite. Dak had time in the pocket. Dak looked comfortable in the pocket. He was slicing and dicing that secondary, and that just impressed the shit out of me. And I think it gave a lot of people confidence. And why wouldn't it give you confidence? I mean, if they can do that. I mean, granted, the Jets aren't some juggernaut defensively, but when you're down that many offensive linemen, you're not supposed to be able to do what Dallas did on offense. You're not supposed to do that. You know what I mean? That's not the norm. That's something special offensively, and so that's where I think that's this confidence is coming from. I love to see it.
Yeah, we need to keep the confidence and definitely appreciate the love. Going to be out in Carolina, so Cowboys Nation, if you guys are out there, give your boy a holler. Cuts, give one of us a holler. I know Marky Mark's going to be out there, so it's going to be a great time hanging with Doug and the crew. So we look forward to it. Hopefully we'll see you there. Until then, enjoy some college football. Should be some good games, and I'm having trouble with my mouse, so I couldn't end it. But having some good games. So who do you guys got real quick? You got a game this weekend? We got
Kansas homecoming. We'll win by 40.
All right, so you got an easy game. Miami's got a bye. That means we'll probably drop in the rankings, but who cares? It'll all work itself out in the end. But appreciate it, Cowboy fans. Again, thank you. All the birthday wishes. Hopefully I tried to make sure I responded to everyone, but if I didn't, love you guys. Thank you so much. And we will be seeing you. I'm having mouse problems. We're going to be seeing you. Get closer. Wait a minute, Kelly. Yep. All right, we're good. I'll see you guys. Take care. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.
Mouse.